Hello guys, it's Max here from Daily Market Movements and welcome to another episode where today we're going to be analysing the S&P 500, the Nasdaq100 followed by the Dow Jones30. Let's start with the S&P 500. We currently find ourselves trading all the way up at 4,399. I did just post my market outlook video over on my YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen that I would definitely go and give it a watch because I basically speak about my thoughts going into this shortened trading week as to where I believe the market could potentially trade within the next couple of days. And I basically said that I am anticipating some digestion of these very large gains that we've seen as of recent. If we just quickly have a look at where we sit in terms of, from more of a longer term perspective, we clearly have the S&P 500. If I draw this fib chart from the peak to trough, of course, from that 2022 bear market, we've broken above the 0.618 fib area, which sat at 4,312, and we've now moved up higher, and we currently trade around this midway point between the 0.786 fib and the 0.618. So of course that 0.786 fib sits all the way up at 4,530. So I do believe that eventually we do go up and test 4,500. But if we just quickly draw a fib from the peak to trough again, from the February movement all the way through to the March lows, it's very clear that we did go and in fact hit the 1.618 fib area, which sat around 4,423. So of course we are now witnessing some minor resistance. I wouldn't be surprised if we were to continue to fall here over the next day or so. If we just quickly go in the 2-hour chart, I think that this is quite important as well. We just get rid of some of these fibs which are making this chart look a bit messy. There we go. We could just draw some minor uptrend charts where it shows us that we've hit the top of this uptrend that we find ourselves trading in. Again, this is a very short time frame, so I wouldn't really invest too much of your time into it, but we've basically been rejected there. We've come down, we're testing the 50-day EMA here on the 2-hour chart, but we could potentially fall all the way down to 4,345 this week. Now the good news is that I do expect us to find dip buyers, meaning that if we do see a dip this week, I do anticipate for investors to come back into the market and buy any dip that does occur. And I actually shared a chart over on my free signal group, which I will leave details at the end of today's video on how to join that group for completely free of charge. But as I mentioned in my videos all the time, I post daily market research in that group as well. And this was a cycle chart. And, this market has pretty much followed this cycle pretty efficiently so far for the past couple of years. And as you can see, we are currently on a cusp of upwards movement. So I think that any dip that does occur, we are likely to find buyers. If you think about it, we have a lot of money that is currently sat on the sidelines, especially when it comes to institutional investors, the hedge funds and the banks. So any dip that occurs in this market, I see it as a fantastic opportunity for the smart money to get back into the market. Hence, that's why I think any dip that does occur should find buyers. So the S&P 500, we could potentially see a move down towards 4,300, maybe even 4,200. That's where the 50-day EMA sits. And I think that's an area where you will find plenty of support. Moving over to the Nasdaq100, very similar to the S&P 500, we've probably come a little bit too far in a very short period of time. We have the RSI reading all the way up at 74. So I think this week's going to be used to consolidate and to correct this overbought that we're seeing here in the broad stock market. We've hit that 0.786 fib area. We have shown signs of rejection, and I think that's highly likely that we could potentially see a fall all the way back down to, let's say, around 14,500, maybe even 14,700. I just want to make something very clear with you all. It's very easy in this current position to look at the market and think, oh my God, we're never gonna fall ever again, because we have literally just got used to gains, and more gains. The market hasn't done, we haven't had many red days at all in the past couple of weeks or even months in that case. So sometimes you do get these very sharp pullbacks, and it's kind of like a very ice cold glass of water getting thrown over investors' faces, and it just kind of humbles you a bit and, basically tells you that, the market doesn't just go up. And I think it's very important during time periods like what we're seeing now that, the market doesn't just go up, and we are likely to see a sharp move lower for whatever reason in the coming days and weeks ahead. But it's healthy, right? I just mentioned that a lot of the institutional money, a lot of the hedge funds and banks, they're still sat in cash on the sidelines, and they will take any minor dips as an opportunity to start investing into this market. So again, I think this week's going to be used to kind of give back some of the recent gains that we've seen here in the Nasdaq100, it will allow the RSI to correct. In terms of the fib support, we have support all the way at 14,500 with the 50-day EMA, which is all the way down at 13,900. So just to put this into perspective, if we fell back to the 50-day EMA, that's an 8.5% correction, and we would still be considered to be trading within this uptrend. So I think that just brings it home as to how far we've gone in such a short period of time. The good news is that I still believe that this market goes high, and I think it's only a matter of time until we do trade up towards the all-time highs, all the way up around 16,730 on this AI hype, as we just continue to see buyers continuing to consume these stocks that that work within the AI industry. The semiconductors, for example, the likes of Nvidia, AMD. We've seen Palo Alto, any company that has any AI offering, we are seeing that stock surge higher. Microsoft, Google, Meta, I think that these are great examples. And then moving over to the Dow Jones 30. Now, this is a very important chart. Recently, we have seen a breakout here. We've seen this inverted head and shoulders pattern come through, and we've just broken above the neckline, which is very positive. Here is that inverted head and shoulders pattern. We've now broken out of this trend, and this is extremely bullish. I think what we're going to see now is just a back test. This is a typical technical movement. When you break out of a previous resistant area, you do typically go back and test it as the new support. So I think that around this area here, around 34,300, we are expected to see buyers, and I think that we do work our ways up towards the all-time highs, which is up around 36,500. I think this is my end of the year target, the all-time highs. Same for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq100. I'm really bullish going into the rest of this year. Why? Well, again, the cycles are basically telling me that we are going to have a very strong second half to this year. So again, I really am bullish. I know that there's a lot of a lot of investors out there who are very skeptical about the recent moves that have occurred in the stock market, but I'm not in that camp. I'm very optimistic as to where the market could potentially be trading within the next couple of weeks and months. So again, just to kind of conclude on today's video, I'm looking for some minor pullbacks, some corrections here in both the Nasdaq100 and the S&P 500, just due to the fact we've gone a very long way in a very short period of time. So I think that we are going to see some digestion of these recent gains and a little bit of giving back. I do like the Dow Jones 30. I think the Dow Jones 30 can continue to outperform, even whilst the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 perhaps have that minor correction. But I feel like this dip is going to be a great buying opportunity. So I see this as a positive dip in the markets, which allows you guys sat at home to participate in in the markets once we do get that dip. Guys, if you would like to join my free trading signal group as well as receive my free daily market research, then please scan this QR code on your screen. It takes 10 seconds to sign up. By scanning this QR code, it will send you to my website where you can then sign up. And I really look forward to welcoming you all over on my group. And I'm very, very excited for this trading week because, as I mentioned, once those dips occur, I will be putting money to work.